Hello, my name is Brindon Addy from Addys Butchers at Hade Edge. I'm at home here at Carling Farm. The question I most frequently get asked at the shop is how to cook something or how long something needs to be cooked. So I'm going to show you the three basic principles of cooking. That's frying, roasting, stewing and pot roasting. The first thing you must remember whenever you're roasting or frying is to get your meat up to room temperature. Don't lift it straight out of the fridge and then cook it, because the fridge is run at between 0 and 4 degrees, so the meat is going to be 4 degrees. If you're frying that, you're going to want to get it up to 45 degrees. So if you put that meat into a pan, you'll get your outside will be overcooked and your inside will still be raw. So get the temperature up to room temperatures are about 20 degrees. So if you get your meat up to 20, you've got to start there already. This is a carved rib roast. The farmer that reared this was Michael Wynne. He just lives about 10 miles away. It's a Limousin Cross Angus. We've taken the outside off because for a small family joint, a big rib of roast is too big. So we carve a rib, they're making it a little bit small, ideally for a family roast. Just put a little bit of back fat on there to baste it, and then the bone gives it a little bit of flavour. Before we start to cook it, we're going to work out how long it needs to be in the oven for. So we're going to weigh it, and it weighs 2.5 pounds, and I estimate for rare 10 minutes a pound, for medium rare 15 minutes a pound. But I only use that as a guide because I'm going to use a meat probe to probe the middle of the meat to get the exact temperature, and I want that at 45 degrees. So at 2.5 pounds, that's going to want 25 minutes. So I'm going to give that about half an hour. So after 20 minutes, I'm going to check it. So I've got my roasting dish. I like a stainless steel one, or better still would have been a cast iron one. The reason being I can put that onto my hob or my hot plate and I can use it for browning off. But most importantly, when I finish cooking the meat, I can deglaze the pan, whereas if it was a glass one, I wouldn't be able to do that. And don't use non-stick because you can't get that caramelised bits off the bottom. So I'm just putting that on there, and that's just going to get hot. We could simply brown this off as it is, but I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning now. A lot of chefs say don't add seasoning before you cook it. Don't cook it a long time, but I add seasoning immediately before cooking. If you cook it an hour before, that brings the moisture out and it will dry it up, but add it now and it'll be fine. And all I'm going to add to this is a little bit of mustard and a little bit of salt. We're just going to brown that off in this pan. So we're just browning that off, just giving it a little bit of flavour, a little bit of colour. And then we're just going to put it on a trivet. So we're going to put this in the oven for about 20 minutes, check the temperature, and once it's cooked we're going to let it rest for another 20 minutes. So that's the rib of beef out of the oven, and that's had now about 40 minutes. We probed it after 20 minutes. Put it into the centre. I find the coldest temperature, and that's 44 degrees, 44, 45, so that's bang on ready now. So what we're going to do with that is cover it with tin foil, put a tea towel and let it stand for 20 minutes. Put it on top of there, and then that can stand up to an hour. Then it'll cook and rest. So as beef stood for 20 minutes, we're just going to make the gravy. Set that on one side. That's on a warm plate. So we're going to make the gravy. We're not a big joint, so we've not got a lot of beef juices. Can you see the brown in the bottom? We want to use that. Okay, so we're going to put that's beef dripping. So we're going to pour all the beef dripping off. That'll be nice for doing your roast potatoes in. Put that back on the heat. And then just deglaze it. You can deglaze it with red wine, but I'm just going to use balsamic vinegar. It's all them caramelised bits that you want. That's your garlic. You're just going to mash that in. And then, if you've got beef stock, use beef stock, or if not, you know, from when you boil the potatoes or your vegetables, use some of that vegetable juice from there. And then, like I said, you can thicken this with corn flour, or I'm just going to just use some beef granules, just to thicken it up. And you could strain this, but I like it to be rustic. And that with some Yorkshire puddings.